welcome to Lokalama YouTube channel. I'm Natasha and I'm coming to you from Manitoba, Canada. And today I would like to welcome you in another episode where I would like to show you all my finished objects, everything I was working on last few weeks while we didn't see each other. And also I would like to show you my result in my spinning because I'm super excited because I had made some progress and I really want to share with you today. And I will start with the spinning because I really want to talk about it today. So let's see. Probably you can still see on my background I have some Easter decorations still hanging there, and also I prepared this cute little Easter basket with knitting and spinning goodies that I would like to show you today and to share with you today. First of all, after spinning for a while and after using my two spindles that I bought, even though they were locally made and more expensive ones, because for this one I paid $58, but after using it, it started to crack a lot, and also the top part fell off and the hook came out, so I needed to glue it back. And I realized that this spindle is very fragile, even though I was using it very carefully, not dropping it a lot. Like it fell a little bit, like, you know, and then cracked right away, and some cracks just appeared later. And also this other spindle, also like this top fell off and hook, so I had to glue this one as well. So I got a little bit disappointed, and I decided to try to order just the cheapest spindle I can find on Amazon. So I decided to order this I would say cheap spindles, because for two spindles like that I paid on Amazon only $24, and it was together with shipping. But when I received them, I was shocked because they came just in a plastic packaging. And as you can see, like spindle was too big, so it was sticking out even a little bit out of plastic bag. And when I received it, I was a bit shocked because I was kind of afraid to open it, because I was afraid that, you know, if my spindle fell a little bit and cracked already, I didn't know what to expect. But actually they were in great shape, and the hook was just protected by a small foam, and actually they came in a good shape. And I started to use one of them. So I have this fleece wool. It's the one I bought 400 grams from Knit Picks. It's 80% merino wool, I think, and 20% silk. So basically merino and silk. And I wanted to start to spin it for a sweater. And as I showed you, I spun already 50 grams here, and it's ready to be plied. And I'll ply it like a 3-ply. I'll do 3-ply because I didn't want to spin it like really like worsted weight for the waist, because I don't want it to felt a lot. So, and I was ready to start spinning second 50 grams. So I decided to try this new spindle, and it actually works really good. And I had to get used to how to spin, because twist it, because it's like quite big and different. But actually I spin it like on my leg like this, and it just goes and spins for a long time. So I enjoy it very, very much. And I also think that these spindles would be great to spin worsted or DK weight yarn right away, and it can probably hold 100 grams easily. Next, I would like to share with you what else do I have in this basket. So let's start with these bright skeins. So we had Easter, and me and my kids, we were dyeing eggs, and this year I decided to use only 3 colors for eggs. It was blue, green, and pink. And of course, after dyeing eggs, we had some leftover dye, and last year I dyed 2 skeins of yarn. After dyeing eggs, and this year I decided to do the same. One of my favorite podcasters, it's Inga. She lives in Norway, and her podcast is Knitting Traditions podcast, and she inspired me because every year she's knitting herself Easter sweater. Like we in Canada or US love to knit Christmas sweaters, but she knits Easter sweaters. So, and I decided, what if I dye enough yarn to knit a sweater, and because it's will remind me of Easter, and then maybe for next year Easter I can knit myself an Easter sweater, and I can start, of course, a bit earlier, and so I can wear it for Easter. And so I had this yarn. I bought it from Not Mad Yarns. It's 80%, it was undyed, right, yarn? It was 80% merino wool and 20% nylon, and I really love the quality of this yarn. So I decided to dye 3 skeins in this beautiful blue, green, pink colors, and these colors, they're kind of like neon colors, and I love them so much, and I'm super excited. So I can hold it together with mohair, or I can knit it on smaller needles and just knit a sweater out of merino nylon yarn. So that's first finished object that I wanted to share with you today. Next, in my basket we can find last skeins, and these skeins are again my hand spun yarn that I spun by myself. So these bright colors, they were dyed, hand dyed merino top, which were dyed for a lady who is local to me, and her business called Cloud9 Fiberworks. So, and I got 110 grams braid top merino wool, and I spun it 1 ply, and then I bought from Knit Picks 100 grams merino nylon blend, and I spun, I wanted to do 2 ply, but then when I was spinning white merino wool, I accidentally went and started to do much finer yarn. And when I was plying it together, I realized that I can use 2 strands of white merino wool and 1 straight strand of this bright color. But because a white strand was so much finer than bright strand, you can see how when they spun together, they didn't twist properly together. So you can see kind of white merino wool goes around bright strand. So, but then I looked through my stash and I found this skein. And this skein, it's hand dyed mohair with silk, and it's 50 grams, and I lost the tag, but it was dyed also by my local dyer, Olive Park Yarns. She has Etsy shop. And I decided that if I hold 1 strand of merino wool and 1 strand of my hand spun yarn, that will make a perfect combination, because my yarn, hand dyed yarn, hand spun yarn, not spun properly. So I'm afraid that it will felt a lot, and I'm hoping by adding mohair to it, it will felt less. And I have this idea to knit ranunculus out of this combination. Tell me what you think. Also was waiting. I have 210 grams of hand spun yarn, and also here it's 50 grams. So I'm sure it would be enough for ranunculus. Also, I can make shorter sleeves or shorter body if it's not enough. And I'm super excited to start working on this project. But again, I wanted to show you my yarn first. So I showed you everything I was spinning, and also it reminded me that on April 1st I was able to go to the farm. The farmers, they have 200 sheep, a few kinds of sheep, and they were shearing them, and we volunteers were able to come and help them to clean the wool. So they would cut off wool from sheep and they would spread wool on a table as a one piece.
It's supposed to be windy, is it? Or maybe not as windy as they first
Yes.
forecasted.
Well, I don't know. They keep changing it.
I know.
God.
But at least it's sunny, not rainy.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
And then we would just take out some straw or maybe parts around neck or around bum where it was too dirty, and then the fleece that is not good for making yarn, it would go to a little factory where they will make pellets out of that wool that people can buy those pellets and put it into their gardens to fertilize gardens. And the good wool would go to the mill, and in a mill they'll make yarn. And also when I was going to the farm, I really wanted to touch raw wool. I wanted to experience like lanolin on my hands, but also I had this idea, maybe I'll ask or buy, like ask for free or buy like, you know, a few kilos of different kinds of wool and try to wash it and spin it. But when I looked at this wool, the farm, I realized that without brushes, I don't think I can spin it. So, but I have contact information of this lady who specifically raises sheep and wool for yarn. So I guess anytime I want to buy, I can go to her and ask her to sell me some if I decided I want to work with raw wool. But I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. That's it about spinning and wool. And now let's talk about finished objects, and let's start with a sweater that I'm wearing right now because I'm a little bit afraid that it's too warm for me to wear it like through the whole video, but we'll see how long I can do it. So this sweater I knitted out of, these two yarns. One was wool on cone, which I purchased from another lady, and it didn't have any tags, but it's just like basically one ply wool, probably like 500 meters for 100 grams, I would say, something like that. And the second strand that I was holding is this Angora mink wool nylon yarn. So I was holding one strand of this yarn, one strand of nylon thread, and one strand of this just wool. And I was knitting on 6mm needles, no, 7mm needles. And then after washing, of course, yarn bloomed, and it just created like very light, nice sweater. I didn't use any pattern for it, like, so I was just freestyling. I did round yoke, and then I did a little bit of raglan increases, and then basically I just were knitting down until I felt like it's a right length, and then I did one by one ribbing, and here it's a double folded neck line, if I didn't say that. So, and this sweater weighs only 330 grams. So, and I'm very pleased with the results. I love it, and I'm sure I will wear it a lot. So that's my first finished object. My next project I was working on, it's this big container. So I will tell you a story first, how it started. So I'm following one account on Instagram. Maybe I'll just attach link here. The girl there, she lives in US and she participates in a lot of markets. And she decided to do March Stash Buster. And she decided that every day she takes and knits one project or one skein. I'm not sure how she was doing, but she was doing reels about it, and it looked so much fun. And I'll insert here some videos about my journey. So I had some skeins of yarn, random, just one skein over each color, and I decided to turn them into headbands. So, and one skein of how it's called, Lion brand thick and quick wool, knitting on 9mm needles, gives you 3 headbands. So here in this basket I have different colors of headbands, and all in total I knitted 28 headbands, and I used more than a kilo of yarn. Here, brown and red, and also like in the end I had some leftovers yarns. Like this one uses 4 different colors. I think I have only 2, yeah, 2 stripy ones. Like I didn't have much leftover yarns. And the pattern I used for these headbands, it's a market bestseller headband, and I will leave a link to this pattern underneath my video. And it takes only half an hour on 9mm needles to knit this headband. And now you probably have questions, what will I do with all these headbands? I'm not sure yet, but I knew that I wanna work with this yarn. I didn't know what to knit with it, and I decided that these headbands would be perfect project to use up this yarn. And I guess I can sell them on Etsy. Maybe I can go to craft market and try to sell them there, or I can use it as a gift. Some of them I can wear, some of them I can use as a gift in autumn or winter when I see I don't know, my friends. And because it will make a really nice gift or Christmas, right? So, and I decided better my yarn will be made into headbands than just I'll have random balls on my shelf. And actually I have quite a big 1 square of on my shelf that is empty now, and makes me very happy. So it was very satisfying and quick and nice project. I really enjoyed it. My next finished object is this cute little piece. Actually this one was like a sample, just a swatch, because I'm working on a how it's called, Afghan for myself, and I'm knitting it like in a squares like that. And I decided just to knit a sample and see. A blanket is already in the progress, right? But I decided to knit a small sample just to see how it would look like. And I love how it looks like. I washed it and I blocked it, and now I would like to use this piece as a table runner. And I'll just maybe or make them a bit shorter, like this pieces here, or add some more. And I like to use it as a table runner, and I think it would be so cute and beautiful because it's made out of 100% wool, and it looks gorgeous. I love it so much. My next finished object would be this beautiful socks that I was knitting out of yarn that I purchased from Hobby, and it's wool, nylon and stellina. And I must say that when I was working with this yarn, it was like kind of more, felt like rustic yarn, and the stellina was quite rough on my hands, and I was even a little bit worried how will I wear these socks, because I thought would they scratch me or not. But I must say that after washing, wool became soft, and even the stellina is softer now, and you can see how fabric is flexible, like it's not stiff. And this yarn gave me identical socks. Yeah, stripes are all identical, which I like very much. And what else? Oh, and it's like 75 grams in this super long socks. So I have about 25 grams of yarn left, and I'm planning to put them in my memory blanket for December square. So very pleased with these socks, very happy, and I'll put them on my shelf because I'll wear them only in December for Christmas. So they're done, finished, and I'm happy about that. My next finished object would be 2 pairs of socks, purple ones, as they were knitted earlier, and I don't have them anymore, but I still have video to show you. And then my last finished object, it would be these pink socks, both of them like 75 grams. I was knitting them using rainy day Angora socks pattern, and I will leave link below if any of you wanna purchase it and use it. Really well written pattern. I think you can use any DK yarn for them. They're written like in 3 different widths and also 10 women sizes. So for each size you will have everything written, how much like, you know, different lengths for ribbing and for food. Everything is written nicely there. So I had 2 pairs of socks, and as you know me, I was knitting a lot of this type of socks, and I really wanted to try color work ones. So I decided to knit these 2 pairs. Aren't they cute and beautiful? So, and these ones are a little bit different pattern, which is using different colors, and I was test knitting this pattern. I'm sure it will publish soon, and when it's published I will also leave a link, and they will be called Sunny Day Angora socks because they have bright colors, I guess, and I'm very pleased with them. Also they're like 75 grams each, and I really enjoyed knitting them. My next finished object would be this little scarf, which I knitted after, like, I knitted out of this yarn. I knitted hat for myself, and then I had leftover yarn. It's from Hobby. Also, it's 100% recycled fibers, and I think it's 70% recycled wool and 30% recycled viscose, and in 100 grams there is 350 meters. So, and I decided to knit like a Sophie scarf, but I would say like a Sophie scarf because I didn't use pattern for it. I just made it up myself, so it wouldn't be exactly widths and lengths like in a pattern. But after I knitted it, I realized that it's a bit too long. I would like it to be shorter, so you basically wear it on your neck like this. And I decided that I would like one that is shorter. So I had also like this color, same yarn, but in this colorway. It's like kind of light gray with dots. And I knitted another scarf, but this one is not blocked yet, much shorter. And I think this length is perfect. So let's see. Some little tape. Like this. I think this size I like more. And you can wear it just like, you know, under spring jacket, for example, just to warm up your throat a little bit, or they wear it also with, like in summer. I guess you can knit out of cotton or viscose, and it would look quite nice too. So I'll see, I'll wash it soon, hide ends, but probably I won't show it to you anymore because show it now as a finished object. And this like shorter one I was hoping that I would use only 25 grams of yarn, but I actually used 37 grams of this beautiful tweed yarn. So I guess this project is really nice for your leftovers yarns that you don't know where to use them. You can use them in these scarves. So we are done with my finished objects, and now I would like to talk about my works in progress. So my next project that you remember already, it's half and half wrap, which I'm knitting out of this yarn from Knit Peaks. It's their new collection, Elixir fingering weight yarn, colorway hibiscus, and it's 45% alpaca, 35% merino wool, and 20% linen, and in 50 grams it's 164 yards. And I will use this bright pink color, hibiscus color, and second color will be forest green, and I think it will be beautiful. And it's pattern from Pearl Soho, half and half wrap, and I'm on my second ball, and it gave me only this much so far here I would like to show you my corner. But after knitting for a while, I realized that it's not very convenient for me to knit on this long cord. So I decided after I will show it to you, I will switch to a shorter cord, and I think then it will go much faster. And especially that every time I have less and less stitches on my needles, and I'm knitting on these needles from Knit Peaks. It's three. I think it's called like with hard. They're made with hardwood, and it's 3.5 millimeter needles. So very addictive project and process, and I love it very much. And now, like, I wasn't working on it for a while, but now after I touched it, it feels so good. I'm sure I will continue working on it. My next work in progress is this vest that I'll probably unravel again. So I'm knitting it out of yarn from Knit Crate. As you know, Knit Crate doesn't exist anymore, and it's Uru Yarns Electric, and it's like 40% Hayakaya alpaca, 30% wool, and 30% Suri alpaca. It's worsted weight. In 100 grams we have 150 yards, and I've been knitting all I really wanted, at first when I got this yarn, I really wanted to knit cowl out of it. But then when I started to knit, and I loved the fabric so much that I decided that I really want a vest out of it. So I started to knit one vest, kind of top down, and I said maybe it would be like, you know, short sleeves and maybe crop top version. But I didn't like it, and I decided to frog this one. And then I started to knit top from bottom up. So on here I basically knitted one skein of yarn, and you see it's not that much fabric it gives me. And I'm using 6 millimeter needles, and it's Adi needles. But I'm thinking I'll frog it, because I think 6 millimeter needles for this yarn is too tight gauge. And also, when I touch it, I love this fabric so much that I think it should be shawl or scarf or something that you can put around your face, because it's so nice and squishy and soft and really nice yarn. So I think I'll frog those two balls, 200 grams of yarn that I knitted already. I'll frog it, and I'll start knitting something else, because I really want to work with this yarn, and I really want to make shawl or scarf or cowl or something and wear it next season. But if I knit shawl, then I can still knit it, wear it this spring or summer. My next work in progress is this top that I'm knitting out of 100% cashmere yarn from Cone. This one is from company called Todd and Duncan. It's like high quality cashmere, and I have here only 20 grams left. So last time when I showed you this top, I was here, so, and I knitted this much. Here it has like a crazy amount of stitches, and also 3.5 millimeter needles and yarn. I hold it double, and it gives me yarn 750 grams per 100 grams. So it's a lot of work, a lot of hours going into this gorgeous top. Again, I'm freestyling, I'm not using any pattern, but I think when this top will be done, I will love it so much, and I will wear it so much, and I'm enjoying knitting it so much that I'm thinking already in my head like which other lace weight yarns I have to start working and adding to my wardrobe more garments that were knitted on a fine needles. So I usually work on this top only when I'm reading a book, and I read every day like about half an hour or 40 minutes, and that's when I knit this top, because I don't have to look at it because it's just a stockinette stitch. So I read the book and I knit, and I love it so much. So that's my another work in progress. My next work in progress is out of these two yarns that I started last time when we talked to each other. I started this project. It's a yarn called Croy. It's a kind of yarn that you can use for socks or for garments. It's 85% wool and 50 nylon, and these little balls, they're only 28 grams each. So I'm holding two strands of this beautiful yellow yarn, and I'm holding one strand of this beautiful color number 037 by Rika Design. It's super kid mohair, 25 grams, 200 meters, 70% mohair, 30 silk. And I was knitting a sweater number 18. I think it's number 18 by my favorite knitwear, and just a bag. So I knitted this much, so I think it's like very divide for sleeves, and now I need to pick up stitches and start knitting shoulder, front shoulder, and that's where I got stuck a little bit. That creates a really nice, beautiful fabric. I'm sure I'll start knitting on it more, but so far that's how much I've done. My next knitting project was out of this yarn. So I had like so many projects that I was working on for a long time, and then at one point I got tired of them and I really wanted to knit a sweater number 15, but I didn't really like that it had like crew neck. I really wanted V neck sweater, and then in Instagram I saw, or is it like, I'm not sure if it's like designer doing another version with V-neck, or was it like just a person. I don't know who was knitting it, but when I saw that V-neck version, I thought like, you know, I want it. So I went through my stash and I had this mohair. It's like made in China mohair. I think it's like 60% mohair, 40% wool, but I think like when I look at this yarn, I think it's 60% mohair and 40% polyamide. That's my what I think, right? And also I had this gorgeous yarn by Nomad yarn, and it's latte 100% Peruvian baby alpaca. And here we have 121 yards, 291 yards per 100 grams, 3-ply baby alpaca, and paired together it just creates such a cool fabric, you know. So I took these two yarns and I started to knit this sweater. First I started to knit it like on 4.5 millimeter needles, but then I realized that fabric was too dense, so I unraveled it and I took 5.5 millimeter needles and I started to work on it, and I was working only on this sweater, didn't want to work on anything else. It has this beautiful design here on the shoulder, then you go forward, and I love it so much. So now I almost done with lengths. I just need to knit a few more rows and then do ribbing, kind of probably same like here, and then I can work on the sleeves and I'll have this gorgeous sweater. I wish you could touch it. It's like so soft and so nice, and I think that if it's true that this mohair has polyamide in it, I think the polyamide that holds together mohair and baby alpaca, so it doesn't stretch too much, and it creates like a really nice, soft and pleasant to the touch and holding structure fabric. So that's my another work in progress. I really hope that next time when we see each other, I'll wear this sweater. So yesterday evening, I was sitting and I thought, I really wanna cast on something new. It's not like I don't have enough projects on my needles, I have lots, but I felt like I really wanna cast on something new. I went through my stash and I found this beautiful super kid mohair that I purchased from Knit Picks, I think last year. It's a loft, and it has 72% super kid mohair and 78% silk, and it's like lace weight yarn, 260 yarns in 25 grams, and color is 28560, and it's this stripy colorway, like dark gray with light gray. So I took knitting needles, 4.5 millimeters. Look at this fabric. And I cast on 94 stitches, and I knitted 6 rows, 1 by 1 ribbon. Then I divided put stitch markers for raglan increases, and then I knitted some back and forth rows to lift up my back a little bit. And now I'm ready to knit in a round. And what I realized that with this yarn, to knit on these Adi knitting needles is a bit challenging, because when I knit with black portions, I can see stitches on my needles, but when I knit with gray yarns, and I don't see stitches on these metal knitting needles. So I realized it probably would be the best to knit this yarn on wooden needles. So I went yesterday and I was checking what kind of wooden needles I can buy, and I found leaky needles. So I ordered 4.5 millimeter ones, longer and shorter tips, and also I ordered 5 millimeter ones. So, and when they will arrive, I'll see if I will knit whole sweater on 5 millimeter needles, or I'll keep knitting on 4.5 millimeter needles. But I think it will give me a really nice, airy, soft garment, which I will enjoy to wear. So, and that's all the knitting related stuff that I wanted to share with you today. And in the end, I would like to share with you a short video about beautiful sunset that we had a couple weeks ago. It was just so gorgeous, so beautiful. And yeah, I just would like to share this a warm vibe from this beautiful sunset with you. And I hope I'll see you soon. Please leave me a comment, let's talk in the comments, and like this video, subscribe to my channel if you like it, recommend it to your knitting friends, and I'll see you next time.